I wanted to get your take, Mark, on this question, which was asked by our own Kenny Heatley to the Premier of New South Wales today. Yes, we are talking about a by-election that the government has said they expect to lose. Whether they'll lose it to Labor or One Nation, well, we'll find out.
It's about winning the by-election, though, isn't it, in the Upper Hunter?
Well, look, at the end of the day, that decision was made. But what I want to do today is thank Malcolm for his contribution to Australia.
So, Premier, this has nothing to do with the by-election in the Upper Hunter?
Look, Minister Keen's statement stands on its own, and I think the comments he made in that statement were pretty true.
All right, Mark, brass tacks. Let's talk about some expectations here. What do you think you're going to be able to do with the right candidate in that seat, given that it's an area that you know so well, and obviously at the federal level too, when it came to the seat of Hunter with Joel Fitzgibbon, One Nation almost was able to win that seat?
Well, you know, we've put the protection of coal jobs on the agenda, and we're pointing out the basic facts, talking about those policy alternatives earlier on. The fact that you go to the Singleton and Muswellbrook local government areas, 58% of the economic output comes from coal. 58%. So win, lose or draw, One Nation's fighting for those coal jobs. And to get rid of Malcolm Turnbull today is a plus, a big plus, because someone who wants to get rid of them is no longer advising the New South Wales government. It'd be better if Matt Keane went as well. But, you know, this is a fight, a real fight. And the difference between us and Gladys Berejiklian, Paul, she's already surrendered. She's already said publicly she's lost this by-election. She's like that fool Zak Kirkup in WA. She's surrendered before the nominations have even opened. She's conceded defeat before anyone's even voted. And she has a similar policy to him to race to close down coal-fired power stations and go as 100% renewables as quickly as possible. So, you know, Kirkup ended up with 2 Liberal Party seats. And I'm not saying the New South Wales Liberal Party will end up with 2, but if you follow the advice of Malcolm Turnbull and Matt Keane, you are going to shed the votes of sensible people who know that job and energy security comes from coal-fired dispatchable power and other sources. Gas can come from nuclear. And 100% renewable is a big risk for blackouts. So why these woke Liberals imitating the Greens, want to race towards 100% renewable? And why they concede defeat in by-elections like Upper Hunter, as Gladys has? Why doesn't she get up there and fight? Why don't she get up there and fight for the coal jobs and the working people to give them a fair crack in life and all the opportunities she's been able to take for granted in her life? You know, why isn't she a fighter for them?
Well, also, don't forget too, one of the reasons why, this government now is a minority government in New South Wales. And, geez, I wonder if they were looking for a independent MP. What was it, Alex Greenwich? Remember all of that little deal that one of the first cabs off the rank upon a re-elected government was all of that stuff about abortion? Of course, it would mean they can afford to be a minority government because they can go shopping somewhere else.
Well, so Paul, it was also about economic transition in the Hunter.
Yeah.
He signed a deal with Greenwich, put him on a parliamentary committee in the lower house for him to study economic transition in the Hunter, which is basically mass unemployment. It's the Nicholas Rees Lean Hunter Jobs Alliance thing where they just try and con people there are jobs of the future, when really the jobs they've got are the ones in the coal industry we need to protect. So that was part of this fraudulent phrase, economic transition, when there is none, for those 110,000 jobs in the Hunter Valley.